Jakki Smith-Leonardini is a clairvoyant, energy healer, and certified soul coach. She has studied with internationally renowned spiritual teacher and author Denise Linn and cultivated her skill under the tutelage of Michael Bates while studying at the Berkeley Psychic Institute. She believes that all human beings are endowed with intuition and that clairvoyance is a skill developed through our connection with the divine. Through her work, Jakki facilitates a healing process that reorients individuals and groups down a path of clarity, purpose, balance, creativity, health, and prosperity. She offers individual and group healing sessions, workshops, and seminars, and recently developed a new app called My Soul Vibe. Through her work, she has watched clients make profound changes in their lives by incorporating energy healing practices into their self-care. I have been working with Jakki for a few years now, and I continue to be inspired and empowered by her work each time I speak with her. Join us for a powerful conversation around divine timing, co-creation, and tools to call your energy back. So I am so excited. Can you believe that I've been working with you almost every week for over 2 years, and I've never once seen you until right now?
That's so funny. I can't believe it. I mean, I've seen you because I watch your Instagram videos, and it's funny. Well, we'll have to do this more. I think it's better face to face.
I know. I love it. I love it. So I always love talking about like how our paths crossed in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, you know, I was at a point, I had been working with another healer. She was amazing. She said, "Hey, by the way, I'm changing my practice and you have to find someone else because I'm not going to be doing regular healings." And so I have total faith and trust in the universe, and there's a reason. And so for a good month, I was praying. I was just asking my guides, please send me the right someone and make it crystal clear. And one of my best girlfriends said, you know, I did this amazing session with this amazing woman out of Napa. You have to call her. And the minute you and I got on the phone, you felt like I've known you forever. You felt like a long lost like friend. And, you know, I just immediately knew. And from that, and that was again, at least 2, if not 3 years ago.
Who was it? Remind me who recommended. I forget.
Laura.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I love it. And that came from
Stephen.
Which came from someone in LA.
Wow.
Yeah. It's so amazing. You know, the way we're all we draw one another in is like it just warms my heart, and I love working with you because what's so amazing is the time how when we come together we trust spirit, so both of us do. And when you work with someone, especially when it's in energy and when we're communicating, and you know, I always say with the ethers, right, with the ethereal plane, the more you trust, the more easily the information will flow because we're not in effort. And so it's just so much fun because we just, everything just flows forward for us because we're welcoming it. And the interesting thing about that is it may not flow forward as far as seeing or knowing everything that we want to know, because it's about timing. We're only going to know things when we're supposed to, right? For the highest and best good. But it just makes a difference.
You know, it's so amazing. So your sessions for me, I mean, obviously I do it regularly because I work with so much spirit energy. And so for me, it's like going through a car wash, right? I just need to like clean out and clear and get neutral again. But so much of what you do, okay, so when you first had a reading with me, you said something that stuck, and it works both ways. And you said, I love how when you read, you don't program people, right?
Yes.
You encourage them to be their own guru. Yes. And so I'd love to talk about that for a minute, because you do the same for me. When you work with me, or I'm sure other clients, you're empowering us to know we have all the tools we need within ourselves to heal ourselves. And you're bringing us into alignment so that when we walk out of the session, we can do our own work. We don't need to rely on someone outside of us.
Exactly. So what's important, and this is one of the things I love about working with you, and then, when I've had readings with you, which I value tremendously, is because what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up in this space where there's divinity present, truth. Divinity is love, truth, and creativity at its highest frequency. That is the divine realm. And when we tap into that energy source, that current of energy, we're being held. And we trust then that all the information that's flooding forward is for us, and it's for us to have greater clarity, to broaden our spectrum. Being clairvoyant just means I have a broad spectrum of vision. I can see beyond. And we are all intuitive, and we can all be clairvoyant. And the work that someone like that we do in our profession is about broadening that spectrum and pulling information that's going to help give people clarity so that they can discern what is best for them. And that's so important. As I always say, I have a no guru zone, right? I'm on the journey with everyone, just right there along with you. And you are the expert in your own knowing. And this work is about tapping into that knowing so that you can listen and follow your spirit. And then in that, you can live your most creative life, right? With ease, right, most of the time, and a lot of grace, because it requires a lot of grace. But the non-programming thing is so important, because when I always say, what's my marker for that? It's if somebody tells you that they know better for you than you know for yourself, that's the first indicator that there's something amiss here. Right. Now, there's a difference between someone that you're working with having certainty and saying, let's look at this, and then saying, tell me, does that, I always say to people, and so do you, does that make sense to you? Does that resonate for you? If it doesn't, you've got to say no. Right. And then someone who wants to, okay, let's be on this journey together. All right, let's take a look at this. Let me see. How about this? Or maybe we're having a language thing where we're not connecting because we're not speaking the same language. But we're on a journey together to figure out how to bring you to a place that's healing. And in that healing, we become more clear. And in that clarity, we are allowed to be more creative in our own space.
Right, right. And at the end of the day, I know you, think along the same lines as I do in terms of we're co-creators of our destiny. It's not set in stone. And, we have to be responsible for the energy we bring into a space, the energy we show up with. If we're choosing to view things through a lens of fear or love, right? Mm-hmm. And so,
yeah.
And so I just know for me, the work we've done together has just been really, you've empowered me to trust my knowing so much more. Mm-hmm. It's easy for me to be objective for other people, right?
Because you're neutral.
Right. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to myself, and so I don't know, I'm so grateful to you because you have really empowered me to be in my knowing. And the other thing that has been really big is, and I think a lot of people will appreciate hearing this with the crazy times that we're living in, is I tend to, my energy gets fragmented. I have, how often you and I work on calling my energy back? And I think a lot of people are feeling scattered and overwhelmed and getting caught up in the frenetic energy of the world. And are you seeing a lot of that when you're working with people being ungrounded?
Yes. Well, the world right now, there's so much uncertainty. There's this hidden virus, right, that we can't see, but we know is out there. It's asymptomatic, or you can't taste or smell. We don't know. Do you have a fever or not? The world feels very precarious. So people are trying to grab onto something, but they don't know what to grab onto. And what happens is our focus gets splattered all over the place, right? So we're very we're over here, we're in the future, we're in the past, we're wondering what to do next. And what that does is it fragments our energy. What we want to do, and what you and I work on, is to call our energy into the present right now, right here in this moment. All is well. And when we can sit in the moment, when we can be grounded, centered, and the way that we do that is by saying your name 3 times. That's one of the tools that, Rebecca, you and I practice. And it's simply by sitting and saying your full name 3 times, calling your energy into the present. The reason you do it 3 times is because you're integrating your mind, body, spirit, and emotions all into the same place at the same time. And when we do that, there's a sense, then we are rooted. And now, what do I do next? And don't just ask yourself or call 50 friends. Tap into your spiritual knowing, tap into that divine place that you honor. That's because that's your relationship. So
Right.
when we do that, then we're co-creating now. Co-creation. On our own, by ourselves, we will tend to be scattered. But if we are in the moment and we know that we're never alone, that if we know that there is divine energy out there waiting for us to invite it in, to hold our hand, to walk through anything, and then we can begin to trust that we're capable. And in that capability, all things are possible. What we focus on, we create.
Right.
And so if we focus on worry or we focus on pain, we're going to be in worry and we're going to be in pain. But if we focus on, listen, I know that I'm divinely held and I need to trust in my capability, and I can trust in that capability because I can trust in the divine timing of things. And sometimes we may be taken right to the edge, but as you know, I mean, whenever we try to create something, especially really big, it can get a little frightening. But if we fear, or we are becoming it, and then that's what we're going to create more of. But if we stand back and trust, then we'll create more of that.
Right, right. Something that you shared with me early on was when I feel fear or anxiety, or I feel I'm covered with the dark energy, to use that mantra you taught me, the divinity within, right?
The divinity, yes, the divinity within me. That was taught to me by one of my first healers. And she said, I'll tell you this little mantra, it'll get you through anything. And boy, does it. 12 years later, I still say it. And listen, I share these tools with people. People might say, well, why do you have to use it? Haven't you perfected, ease and grace and peace in your life? And oh gosh, I really wish.
Right.
I'm on the journey with everyone. These are tools that I use, that the divinity within me, the divinity within me, the divinity within me. I say that at night when I'm, thinking about my son, what is he going to do next? Or if I'm worried about my mom, and no, I'm not going to worry. I'm going to focus on the divinity. I'm going to call in that light, and I'm going to push away all of that energy. And I'm going to focus on, okay, spirit. Okay, what am I going to create? What do I need to do next to show up and be of service to my mom, or to my son, or to my friends, or to my projects that I'm working on, or for my clients? But I'm going to focus on that in the present, not putting my energy in everyone's space. That's another reason why we all get fragmented. When we start to really worry about people, our energy is now over in that person's field, hovering over them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we find ourselves doing that, it's so important that we call our energy back and simply say a prayer for them, or send light to them, love, think of them in love, because then we're surrounding them in that light, and that's protecting them. So we don't have to worry. Allow spirit to do that. Just what we focus on, we create. Just keep putting that love energy out there through the heart chakra, and then we'll see that is what we start to experience in our relationships and in our everyday reality, more of that rather than the other.
Right. And when I say the divinity within, I imagine you taught me once, like the white roses and blowing them up Can you talk a little bit about that and how, like, when I feel I need to get neutral, running blue light, running my energy?
Yes. So you bring up a lot of really good tools. So I get excited when I get to share my tools.
Great tools.
They're amazing, right?
Yeah.
The white roses are an energetic tool that represents forgiveness. That's what they vibrate at. Forgiveness is an energy of freedom. When we forgive, what we're saying is, I don't agree with the shadow. Shadow frequencies are fear, doubt, anxiety, greed, competition, win at all costs, scarcity, insecurity, etc. Light frequencies, love, tolerance, kindness, generosity, compassion, etc., honor. And so we want to focus on those frequencies, on the light, love. That's divinity. But when we find ourselves with a fear coming in, and it will weigh on you, you'll feel it and you can't escape it, that's because the shadow is impolite. It will never ask permission to be in your space. So when you put that white rose up, when you're feeling that, you want to put a rose out there and ask the rose to absorb those frequencies. Because when that energy hits the rose, it's going to dissipate the charge. Everything is energy. Thoughts have a frequency. If we're putting a thought that is in the shadow, think of this little bubble around you. You put that thought there, it's a little piece of energy. You have that thought again, there it goes again. The bubble gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It gets a bigger charge. And so if you find yourself ruminating on something that's diminishing, a shadow, take that, see it like in a little bubble, take the white rose, put the bubble in the white rose, and then let the white rose disintegrate down to the center of the earth through its stem. That's taking that energy and saying, no, I don't agree. You're not allowed in my space. You could do it once and maybe it still comes back again. Don't just say, oh, it didn't work. Keep doing it. Again, we are living in really dense vibrational times.
Yes.
And the point of that is so that we can make a choice, a conscious choice to say no, to disagree, so we can move into forgiveness, so we can get our freedom. When I went to energy healing school, my teacher, Michael Bates, would say, you're in freedom class. You're getting your freedom from the shadow. Forgiveness is freedom. It's salvation. And so when we say no to those frequencies, and I'm going to choose now, I'm not going to be in anxiety. I'm going to be in creation. I'm not going to think about what I fear. I'm going to think about what I want to create. Now I'm in agreement with the light. That's balancing my karma.
Right. And, you and I have worked so much on breaking karma, breaking old, agreements. And in my practice, I've been doing so many readings where all this old baggage from past lives is coming up for people. It's surfacing to be released so that it can lighten and heighten their vibration so that they can heal, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's why when people say things like, oh, I must have bad karma because I did something bad. It's not about having bad or good. That's judgment. And judgment is not an ethereal frequency. Forgiveness has nothing to do with judging someone as right or wrong or good or bad. Things are just what they are. It's about discernment. So, that's my barometer. Am I operating right now from a fear, or am I operating from light frequency? And when we meet karmic experiences, and everything is a karmic experience, but when we find ourselves in a relationship or in a moment where there's a choice that I need to make right now, I'm going to either respond in or react in a shadow, or I'm going to be in the light. We're meant to choose the light. That's why we keep having the same experience over and over again until we choose to meet it in honor or compassion or tolerance. But if we meet it with anger or resentment, then we're staying in that karma. We're going to be held in that shadow until we disagree with it. So that's what breaking karma is. And you know what? I have to say this. It doesn't matter what someone has done to you. They could do a horrendous thing to you.
Right.
If you meet them in an anger frequency or in a resentment frequency or in a judgment frequency, you're agreeing with the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so important, because we forget. And what we want by doing this work of staying grounded and using roses or tapping into divine energy and running energy through our chakra system that's of the light, what we're looking for is having space between the stimulus and our response, because it's in that space that we can actually take a moment in the stillness and say, okay, I'm not gonna react. I'm angry right now. I'm so angry. But instead of being angry and reacting and making an agreement with fear and anger, I'm going to be still for this moment. I'm going to realize the anger's within me. I'm going to ask, okay, what is this experience, or what is this anger here to teach me? What am I supposed to know? Not that this other person, it has nothing to do with the other person at all. It has to do with what's inside. And that's why when you said earlier, we can heal ourselves. Absolutely. Shadow or discomfort within us, or dis-ease or disharmony, is present to give us information. Mm-hmm. Information about how we can move, balance our karma, get into forgiveness, and find ease and harmony rather than dis-ease and disharmony. Right. But the only way to do it is through that forgiveness. And that's why we break karma sticks in our readings. And
I love it. Well, it's all about getting out of the victim mindset and back into your power. And something you've said that I hear all the time in my head is, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Right?
Yes, that's a big one. It's not happening to you. That's because there are no victims on the planet.
No.
I remember walking into class and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of this always happening to me. And Michael saying to me, okay, well, there's a pattern here. What are you supposed to be learning? Learn the lesson here. And it's not meant like reprimand lesson. I'm going to teach you a lesson. It's about, where's the truth? You're believing a lie right now about yourself, and it's limiting you, and your soul loves the truth. Mm-hmm. Your soul loves the truth. And that's Denise Lynn taught me that when I studied with her. Mm-hmm. We're going to bring in, we're electromagnetic. If we're holding on to a lie, for instance, I am less than because I'm different. I believe that for a long time. I still am working on that one, but I kept bringing in instances in my life where I felt like I was the odd man out, where I felt like people didn't connect with me. And it was because I was holding on to that belief until I let that go, until I stopped one day and say, wait a minute, why do I keep, feeling awkward at a party? Why do I keep feeling, like nobody understands me, like I can't communicate? It's not about the other person. It's because I'm holding this lie, and my soul is I'm going to keep magnetizing this lie, bringing experiences in until I wake up and go, what's the real truth here? Yeah. Because the truth is I'm different, but that's okay. We all are. I am different because I am me, mm-hmm. not because I am less than. But I held on to that for such a long time. And it was because I had trauma early on. I was teased for the way I looked, or this or that. There's lots of instances where I kept trying to prove the lie to be true.
Wow. That's powerful. Mm-hmm. That reminds me of the different frequencies. Spirit always tells me heaven or hell, it's a state of mind, whether you're in body or in spirit. So you can create a living hell by believing the lies and living in mm-hmm. fear. You can do it in a body, or you can do it on the other side, or you can mm-hmm. choose to shift. And I would love to talk just for a moment on your thoughts on what a lot of people are calling the ascension process as we move through these crazy times from third dimension to fourth and fifth. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts you have on that would help people listening to this on how they can move forward with grace and ease and less pain and struggle?
Well, first thing, always ask for grace and ease. You have to ask. What you ask for, you receive. And sometimes it might not be as easy as you were hoping for, but that's okay. That's by design. Again, everything happens for our growth and our expansion, our ascension. We embody, our purpose is to embody in as spirits having a human experience so that we can ascend. And so it's almost like my partner, Casey Crown, we do Well Soul workshops. She says, let's get comfortable being uncomfortable, because actually that discomfort is again, it's information. So the sooner we dial in to that information and say, why am I having this experience? Spirit, show me the way. What am I to know so that I can move forward with ease and grace? Mm-hmm. And then trust the information. And that's the work that you do. And that's the work that I do with people, is asking those questions, supporting people in the divine light, co-creating together, asking, okay, what are we to know here? Okay, now I got the message. I got the message that I was supposed to know, that I am different, but that I am unique in who I am, and that I am worthy of being heard and seen. Now, you want to talk about being different. I'm an energy healer and a clairvoyant. I better have gotten comfortable with being different. Right. All of those experiences, being teased by people, when I was in first grade, third grade, fifth grade for braces, and then having attention for, all of a sudden I get my braces off and now I'm cute, right? And then getting all that attention, and that made me feel uncomfortable too. Like, I don't want to, now everyone's paying attention to me, it's a good reason, but it still makes me feel less than. Like, now I'm not smart enough. So it's like, I don't know which way to turn here. How do I escape this? Well, it was all for my education.
Right.
So I could be comfortable now in who I am. It took me a lot longer to learn the lesson. So what I want to say to people is, let's try to wake up a little sooner. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid of feeling uncomfortable. It's information.
Right.
Conflict can be constructive. Just don't play to win, play to learn. How can this, right? Yeah. Play to learn. I always said this to my, and trust me, I get angry, and I don't follow this all the time either, because I'm learning. And right. And the other thing is, no, if anybody tells you they're walking on water, I don't know about that. Let me know if you meet someone like that. I'd like to meet them.
I always say I'm the guinea pig walking through this. We're not immune to this just because we have figured out our talent and what we're here to share with the world. But we all go through the same thing.
No, but it's that stillness. When you do this work, what you do is you buy yourself time. You're not reacting to everything now. You're going to respond, and you're going to sit still. And that doesn't mean that everyone has a green light to give people the silent treatment either when you find yourself in a conflict. It's saying, hey, I don't want to respond to you right now in a way that dishonors me or you. I need stillness. Just give me some time, and let's meet together so we can learn and grow from this. That these times can create, this time right now especially, can create intimacy rather than destroy us. And you find it, what I find interesting about the ascension process is this: heaven, if you want to call it heaven, or the divine realm, is a frequency. It is a frequency that is electromagnetic beings we want to match, because in that moment, that heavenly moment, there is nothing but love and kindness and compassion and joy. And we all can have moments of that, but what we're trying to ascend to is where we can hold that frequency for eternity, right? And so that's what we're striving for. When people are like, well, what are we ascending toward? We're ascending toward that place in which we have stillness. And in that stillness, we're in the knowing that we are love. We remember. Ascending is about remembering that I am love.
Yes.
And that in all things there is love. And that's what I believe is happening to us right now. We're being shaken to our core, and we're being asked, which way are you going to go?
Right. Exactly. And the veil is thinning. And so more and more of us are starting to wake up to the fact that this is an option, and that we can rise up and out of the muck, that we're all feeling.
Right. So we're also programmed, Rebecca. that we have, there's so much programming in our space, other people's ideas, other people's desires for us, our judgments that we hold about ourselves and others. This is a time for us to start to deprogram, to let go of all of those thoughts, those feelings that are in the shadow, that are lies, that are programming us, that aren't in the truth of who we are.
Right.
And by truth, I don't mean honesty. I don't mean I like, that's a pretty blouse you're wearing. That's honest. But I mean truth, like I know that I'm love. I'm sitting in compassion. I know right now that when I speak to somebody, I'm going to try to speak from a place of honor and regard for them and for myself. But no matter what they do or say to me, I'm going to stay in my honor and regard. That's living your truth. Yeah. Not telling someone that you think that they're wrong or, mean or a jerk or not intelligent or whatever the terrible things that we tend to go to with people, but that we stay in honor and say, you know what, because I'm honorable and I regard me, I'm going to stay that way no matter what comes at me. And that's the process in which we ascend from.
And that's being the light. We're just being that example, and that light is contagious and hopefully starts to create a ripple effect where, so I need to wrap this up. I could talk to you forever. I love talking about this stuff.
This is our favorite topic.
It is. And I'm learning so much. I've worked with you, but I'm learning so much just sitting here talking about this stuff. But I want you to share with listeners this amazing app you've created that when I don't get to talk to you and I'm like, I need Jakki right now, what would you do? I turn on this app, your soul vibe, right?
Right.
Tell us about it.
Well, thank you. So it's called My Soul Vibe. And what the app is designed to do is help you touch base with how you're feeling in the moment. So oftentimes we don't feel grounded or something catches us during the day. And what you can do in the app, it's a great tool. It's a personalized sound meditation that you can access. But first thing that we do is we help you get grounded. So you can say your name into the app. We've got this technology that we've developed that reads the frequency in your voice and will show you the colors in your aura. So it's like remember the mood ring way back when? So it's like the modern mood ring. We're going to show you what colors are in your aura, which are attached to how you're feeling. You can attune to your feelings. And then from that, what we're going to play back to you is a personalized sound healing. So actual meditation, it's the sound of your soul. And so every time you check your aura, because your energy is always changing, you're going to see what frequencies are present, where you are. You're going to start to understand, okay, well, when I'm at work, I tend to feel this way. Or when I'm at home, I tend to have these colors in my aura. Start to correlate your experiences with your feelings, your aura. And then 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can choose the length of time that you meditate. You don't need to be sitting in a quiet space. You just need to have your headphones, you put them on, and you'll hear these vibrations. It's your own sound. And what happens is it will clear away the energetic debris that's blocking your clarity, help you get recentered, set an intention for the rest of your day, and then you'll receive information reminders that will help support you in your intention. And so that's the app. I wanted more people to be able to have access to this work because I find it's really been the journey, the activity that has been the game changer for me. And so we created the app so everyone can have access to the work that we do.
And it's amazing. I use this thing. My 4-year-old daughter at night, every night asks now, let's do the app where I say my name 3 times. And so, she loves it. You can tell she's so just naturally gravitating to, it feels good, but it's so accurate. It's so accurate. I'll come in saying, I need more of this. And sure enough, that's what shows up. So,
so great. Well, your name, is a harmonic your name is a harmonic that's attuned to your soul. So when you say your name, that's when you call your energy into the present. And the pitch and tone in your voice in that moment is an indication of how you're feeling inside. Your feelings are frequencies. And that's why when we're talking earlier, it's so important. Your feelings matter because they're yours and they have information. And you want to feel them and you want to get to know why they're showing up and not to dwell or drown in them. And that's the point of the app. It's just going to give you that time enough to you attune to where you are so that you can say, okay, this is where I am. This is why I'm in this spot right now. And now I want to shift my energy into this direction. So I'm going to set an intention for how I want to feel. And then the tones, the meditation is going to actually help clear away the lies so that you can step into the truth of your day and harness your energy and focus it, because what you focus on, you create.
Yes.
And that's really important.
It is. Amen to all of that. This has been so fun. And you really shifted my energy just even talking to you.
Oh, thank you. Well, you always shift my energy. I'm like, every day, I don't know. It's just, it's called love, right?
Yes,
it's called love.
Yes. And we're matching each other's energy. So Thank you so much for sharing all this. I know it's going to really resonate with so many people listening. And I would highly encourage anyone who feels guided to just work with you or reach out and, use your app. But really put into practice some of the stuff that we've been talking about. All right. Well, thank you for being a part of this. And I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was so nice.
So good.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Small Medium at Large. To register for one of my Rebecca Rosen live online events or virtual small group readings, and to sign up for my newsletter, please visit my website, RebeccaRosen.com. There you will also find additional resources for your spiritual journey, including my self-guided courses, books, and blog videos. You can also follow me on social media by searching @Medium Rebecca Rosen on Facebook and Instagram. As always, wishing you brightest blessings and all love.